The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Oh shit! It's Vince Russo!
Vince McMahon's best-kept secret.
I am the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
David Arquette won the world title!
I've got a wife, 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
How can this show be so awful, Mr. McMahon? I didn't think it was.
Viagra on a pole match!
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass!
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match! McMahon, the family, the Rock, they screwed us all!
Now you're the editor, right?
Mankind did it! Jumpy, beat me! Goldberg steered Russo out of the cage!
I'm from New York.
I'll get downright nasty.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Brand and welcome to the show. I swear, every time I say welcome to the show, I think about Kiss and Psycho Circus. I don't know why. The last album the original Kiss members made together, it got panned by the critics. But then again, the critics panned every Kiss album. But if you're a Kiss fan, you're a fan of every album. Psycho Circus, they ended with welcome to the show. That's what I think every time I say it. But I got that out of the way now. We got a big show today. We are continuing the Hot Robin search. And if you're following the show and you follow me, you know my mentor, my role model is the great Howard Stern. And I by no means, let me make this perfectly clear. I by no means try to imitate him, try to be anything close to what Howard is, because I think Howard Stern is greatness. I think Howard Stern is an absolute unbelievable interviewer. I don't try to be him. I could never be him in my wildest dreams, but I know there are a lot of you out there really sick and tired of looking at Jeff Lane's ugly puss. I mean, let's face it, bro. Jeff ain't the best looking guy in the world. And I don't even think Jeff would argue with that. Then there was the situation of him coming to my house and puking all over my car, which kind of set him back. And I kept saying, the thing that's missing from this show is just my hot Robin, a woman that could fill in, that could come on, co-host the show with me, be pleasant on the eyes. So we're going to continue that search today. And I got a doozy. Today. But unfortunately, you know who is going to join me again today with his ridiculous line of questioning. And I'm talking about Scott Casey Gale. And Scott, I'm telling you right now, if you got the same stupid questions that you have every time I bring a beautiful girl on, I'm kicking you out of the room. I give you chance after chance after chance, and it's the same questions. Why do you like wrestling? What's your favorite video game? Bro, you better have questions today, Scott, because I've been taking it easy on you. Okay, before I get into the show, I'm going to get into a mini rant here. I interviewed Ryback the other day, and that interview is going to be coming up on the brand shortly. I'm teasing you with it a little bit now. It ran well over an hour. The first time I ever spoke to him, we hit it off really well. I'm going to give you a little tease of something that Ryback said that I want to hit upon. Ryback mentioned to me at one point he suffered a severe ankle injury, and the WWE was looking at this as an example to, whether they were getting out from underneath his contract, whether they wanted to get rid of him, whether they wanted to cut him, whatever their reasonings being, they tried to get out of this contract due to the ankle injury. Ryback was telling me, he was rehabbing, he was getting ready to come back, and legally he didn't think they would be able to get out of the contract because of injury. He hired lawyers, he fought it tooth and nail, and they kept him aboard. But he also explained to me from that moment on, Vince McMahon, kind of screwed with him. Listen, when there's lawyers involved, Vince McMahon does not like that. Okay, when a talent goes out and gets a lawyer, and all of a sudden it's just not the talent and Vince, that rubs Vince the wrong way. It always has. So the fact that Ryback got a team of lawyers to prevent him from being fired, that rubbed Vince the wrong way. And Ryback, basically says from that point on, he felt that, Vince kind of messed with him. Vince kind of screwed with him, and he could because he had the power and the money to do that. And then Ryback goes on to say, I took it for as long as I could. But then I just realized one day, like, this is not, I'm just not going to continue to go through this. I can do greater things in life. This type of treatment, I'm just not going to tolerate. The reason I bring that up is I'm not bringing this up. Listen, I saw Vince do this. And if you worked closely with Vince, you saw him do this. And if people like Bruce Pritchard and Jim Ross, they experienced this like I did and Ed did. There were just some guys that Vince liked to screw with for whatever reason, and he could because he had the money and he had the power to do it. A lot of times it put me in a difficult situation because I knew what he was doing, but quite frankly, there wasn't anything I was going to be able to do about it. But my point is this, man. I don't care who you are. If you're in that kind of a job, where you're just being screwed with and you've got an employer just disrespecting you and taking advantage of you because he has the power and the money and he can, let me tell you something. He can't. That's no way to treat any human being. Now, we're here to serve, but when we serve, we're also entitled to be treated with respect. We should all respect one another. And I know, man, there are so many people out there working in the sales force who feel this way, who feel they're being disrespected, they're being stepped on. The powers that be have all the money and all the power and the right to treat them that way. Let me tell you something. Nobody has the right to treat you that way. And nobody has the right to disrespect you. And if you're treating somebody respectfully, you should be treated with respect and dignity back. And there's no reason to take it. And I take this very seriously. And listen, when you hear the Ryback interview, this is what's going to come out of it. Ryback is going to do great things now. The promise, and the ability now that with no more handcuffs and nothing holding him back, now Ryback can bring to the world what he was meant to bring to the world. And I feel very serious about this because I really do believe that God created us all equal. And nobody should be a stepping stone for anybody else. Nobody should be ridiculed or disrespected because your boss has more money than you and more power. I don't believe in that. I believe that we were all created to do great things. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you're in that kind of a position at work where, again, your boss is taking advantage of you, not treating you with respect, using you as his punching bag, and handle it in a civil, professional manner. But just know you were created to do great things. We were all created to do great things. And if a situation like that is holding you back, okay, you don't have to put up with it. And you can stand up for yourself and you can have some self-respect. Because let me tell you something, there are people out there in the droves that would love having your services and that would love having a faithful and respectful servant working for them, and that would appreciate it. So with that being said, speaking of faithful and respectful servants, even though I use respectful loosely when it comes to this guy. Scott Casey, Gail, I'm bringing you on first. Please unmute your microphone now.
Yes.
Scott, how you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
All right, now, Scott, you had a nice Christmas. You told me yesterday you got the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
You're all excited with everything. Hey, you want to make any comments about the holidays?
I had a great holiday. Got everything I wanted, and I had an awesome New Year's, and I got wasted on New Year's Eve.
All right, well, hold on. What do you mean you got wasted New Year's Eve, Scott?
I got there's a joke video which I'm going to send you later.
Oh, were there any knives involved, or you playing with any sharp objects or anything?
No,
And did you get wasted alone?
I don't.
Does your mother and father know about this?
Yes.
And you're going to send me the video.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I don't know why in my sick, demented mind I look forward to that video. But Scott, listen, you know what we're doing here. You know this is the Hot Robin search. You're supposed to be my wingman. Do you understand that, Scott?
Yes.
Scott, I'm bringing you, because of the kind of guy I am, I'm bringing you beautiful women right into your bedroom. All you need to do, bro, is ask them intelligent questions. That's all. That's all you got to do, bro.
Okay.
Now, do you have intelligent questions today?
Yes, I have new questions.
New questions. Okay. Now, are your hands above board? Let me see your hands where I can see it, because let me tell you, when I bring on this female, this is the real deal, Scott. This ain't no Mickey Mousing around. Okay, Scott, before I bring her on, let me read you her credentials. Okay, you ready, Scott?
Yes.
Her name is Kimberley Ford. Scott, she was 2016 Mrs. Calgary and 2017 Mrs. Alberta. You know what I'm talking? Scott, she's a beauty queen. She won beauty contests.
That's awesome.
Are you don't be rubbing your hands together, bro, because I know what's going through your mind right now. So you're going to treat her with honor, respect, and dignity, correct, Scott?
Yes.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I tell you got to get the Realm Network, because hearing it on podcast one is one thing, but seeing the beauty, listen, I tell you, you got to get the Realm Network to see the beautiful women that come on the show. That's part of the gimmick. So now I'm going to bring her on the show. She's going to unmute her microphone, and I'm talking about the beautiful Kimberley Ford, potentially my next Hot Robin. Kimberley, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Vince.
Kimberley, good morning, and how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. I can't wait for this. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Well, Kimberley, I got to tell you, I'm just being honest here. Kimberley, you know all about catfishing. And I gotta be very, very careful with the catfishing. And you know, I don't know how we came into contact. I think, you know, you may have followed me first. Then I saw your credentials, and of course I was interested. You mentioned something about the Hot Robin search, but now I'm seeing this picture of you, and I'm seeing, you know, Miss Calgary 2016. Mrs. Let me make that clear. Scott, you got that? That means she's married, Scott. You understand?
Yes.
I don't be rubbing your hands together like a little perv over there. Okay, and I'm seeing this picture of you, Kimberley, and I'm seeing Mrs. Calgary, Mrs. Alberta, and like the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, I'm getting set up here. I'm getting catfished. This is some 700-pound guy sitting in his basement trying to make me look like an idiot. But Kimberley, you look as beautiful as the picture on your Twitter.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm definitely not 700 pounds.
Now, Kimberley, are you excited about that? You know the premise. I'm looking for a Hot Robin. I'm looking for a co-host who can join me in some of these interviews I did, some intelligent, good-looking female I could have conversations with. I've been, you know, about a week ago, we interviewed some 19-year-old Maria, and we're kind of going through the gamut. Big difference of Maria, 19. You're a Mrs. Beauty Queen, but I just want to make sure that you know what you could be in store here if you are picked the Hot Robin. Do you understand everything?
Yes, I do. And like The Rock says, bring it.
Bring it. Okay. Well, listen, I want to go through a couple of things. First, Kimberley, because you got a very interesting bio from what I see. Now, by trade, you're a nurse, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, like just an RN. I mean, do you specialize in anything? Or tell me a little bit about that.
All right. So I am an RN, and I actually am an operating room nurse. So I perform surgery every day, and I specialize in trauma surgery. So I get some of the really gory, bloody stuff. I love it.
Oh my! Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Now, I've got to ask you this because this intrigues me, because I think about this like all the time. Like at some point you had to be interested in doing that. And that's kind of, man, you've got to be a special kind of breed to be in a trauma room, in an operating room. So what interested you in this in the first place?
I used to deliver babies prior to the operating room, and obviously there's a lot of blood and gore there. I won't go into it, but I thought it'd be really cool to get in on some massive surgery, some stuff I had never seen before, and I'm always up for a challenge.
Can you give us like what can you give us an example of like what was even difficult for you to handle? Can you give us one example?
I can, without naming anything that I'm not allowed to. The worst thing I've ever seen was a gentleman who went base diving for his, I think, 60th or 70th birthday.
Oh my God.
Obviously it didn't end well, and opened him up, and his bowels had completely exploded everywhere.
Oh
and
my God.
yeah, we had to literally peel out intestine.
Oh my God.
And send it off. It was the most mortifying smell I had ever
Oh
smelled.
my God.
Disgusting. Yeah.
I mean, at some point now, when you're in that operating room and you're in the thick of it, like, I mean, is there ever a second of, I got to get out of here. I can't, I'm not going to get through this.
Yeah. Bones actually are my weakness. So when someone's hip is bending a way that it shouldn't and there's stuff jabbing out, that makes me really queasy. But I'm a tough girl, so I just kind of hold my breath and get through it.
Now, did this poor gentleman, did he survive?
Did.
Oh, good. Okay, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen. Here comes the intellect of Scott Casey Gale. All right, now Scott, I'm going to put you in a hypothetical situation. You know what hypothetical means?
Yeah, I've heard that term.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Scott, say you're in the hospital. Okay,
Yeah.
say you're getting your tonsils taken out. Okay, a minor surgery. Okay, now say Kimberley walks in as your nurse, Scott. First and foremost, what's going through your mind?
And lots of excitement.
Lots of excitement. Okay, now Scott, what do you say when the beautiful Miss Kimberley walks in and wants to take your temperature? What do you say to her?
I'll say, sure thing, baby.
Okay, I sure think, babe. All right, Kimberley, what would you think about Scott Casey Gale as a patient?
If he said sure thing, baby, to me, I'd have to put him in his place a little bit.
Oh, well, Scott, you might like that though, right?
Yeah.
A little spanking or something, Scott?
Yes.
All right, you little perv. All right, Kimberley, let's move on now because I love the things here. Artist, talk to me about art. What do you do art-wise?
I am a abstract painter. I've been drawing all my life, and it's just come natural to me. So I've sold a lot of art. Just basically that I'm a lady of many talents, and I'm just gifted in many areas.
Okay, all right, now this I got to be a little careful about. We're going to go through this. It's going to get a little personal. You mentioned wife, and obviously Mrs. Calgary, Mrs. Alberta, you're married. How long have you been married?
It'll be 6 years in March.
Oh, so you're still pretty much a newlywed.
Yeah, kinda.
Now, is your husband, is he in the wrestling business at all? What does he do for a living?
No, he's not. He's a police officer.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
actually has never been a wrestling fan, but slowly I'm breaking him in.
Well, I don't know if you want to do that. Scott, her husband's a cop. What do you think about that, Scott?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, he might crack you over the head with his nightstick if you say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying, Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
I crack him over the head if he says the wrong
Yeah,
thing.
there you go. Okay, now, Kimber, I got to ask you this because, listen, let's face it, as the co-host of the show, There's going to be wrestlers coming on the show, well-built guys. Like, is your husband of the jealous nature? Will he have a problem? Wrestlers tend to hit on women. And if you're the co-host, I can't help what they say. They may say some appropriate things. Will your husband be cool with that?
I think he's going to have to be. I'm a pretty independent woman, and he knows that I'm faithful to him 10,000%. So just because guys are hitting on me doesn't mean that girls aren't hitting on him. We just
okay. So you can handle yourself, and he'll be cool with that.
I think so.
Okay. Now, Kimberley, you're a mother. Tell me how many kids you have, how old you are. Tell me a little bit about the kids.
So my son is 4 years old, and he is a genius. And I know most parents say that, but he literally is a genius. His favorite country in the world is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He he keeps me on my toes, and we had to have him through fertility treatments. So I'm a huge advocate for that. And I just wish everybody could have the opportunity to have a little 4-year-old's brainiac.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Infertility Warrior. Now, let me ask you this, Kimberley. Would you consider at any point adopting a Scott Casey Gale?
I don't think so. No offense, Scott.
That's okay.
Scott, can you imagine if you were bad and Kimberley had to spank you? What do you think about that, Scott?
I don't know what I do.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. All right, let's move on.
Spanker, not a spanker. So
All right, now, Kimberley, here's where I'm a little curious because of the way you phrase this. So I want to get into this a little bit more. Former freestyle wrestler. I don't know exactly what that means.
All right. Well, let me elaborate. I started watching wrestling at a very young age, and I have always had a passion for it. So when I was 11 years old, I secretly joined the school's wrestling team. So more Olympic style wrestling, what you would see in the Olympics. Freestyle just means that I can use my hands, my legs, anything. It's so I wrestled for 7 or 8 years and did pretty well, but unfortunately injuries held me back, and I went to school and became a nurse.
Now you do some work though. I saw you in the ring with the beautiful sash. I saw you. So you're involved in the wrestling business somewhat in Calgary?
I'd say very minor. I was invited to present the Stu Hart Memorial Trophy at a wrestling event to Harry Smith, son of the British Bulldog. So I got to be in the ring and got to experience that. First time in the ring, and I loved it. The bug has bitten me.
Okay, now here, when we talk about wrestling, here's a huge strike. We gotta talk about the elephant in the room, because this could kill all our hopes and dreams when it comes to Kimberley being my hot Robin. Now, you unfortunately have some kind of connection. I'll use the word connection to Andre Corbiel. Will you mind talking about that a little bit?
It's not too much, to be honest. I met Andre at that particular wrestling event, and we all went out for dinner afterwards. And I don't know, he's a pretty funny guy. He was announcing the thing, and we just are Twitter friends. Nothing special.
Now, was your husband at that event with you?
No, he was not. He was watching my son. Okay,
so was Andre hitting on you and his corny, stupid, ridiculous lines?
No, not even close. He was very respectful. All the people were very respectful, other than the 2 girls that got into a cat fight, and I had to break it up in my stilettos.
Oh my God! Well, I've seen that before. Trust me. Now, so where does your interest in wrestling come from? Where's it come from?
My parents. Well, my dad particularly watched wrestling, Stampede Wrestling, huge fan of like Gama Singh and people like that. And so we grew up in a house that had wrestling on the television, and I became hooked. My dad took me to events, and we just bonded over that. I've been watching it pretty much since I was, I'd say, 7 or 8.
Now, Kimberley, let me ask you this. I'm a huge fan, huge fan of the Canadian accent. I pop for the Canadian accent. I worked with a lot of people, right from over the border. Yours seems to be tempered a little. Is that because of, the beauty pageants and what you do? Do you have to practice on that, or is it just, based on the region that you're from?
I don't practice anything. This is honestly how I talk. We just don't have as strong of a French. So I don't know. I'm an Albertan. I have like a farmer accent, I guess.
Are you born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, Canada?
Born and raised.
I went there a couple of times when I was working for the WW. Beautiful, man. I mean, what a beautiful place.
Yeah, how could you leave? It's stunning. I've got mountains, I've got water areas. It's great. I love it here.
Yeah, Scott, you know where Alberta, Calgary, Alberta is, Scott?
Yeah, I never been to Canada, but I always would like to visit down there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. Canada is a beautiful country. Okay, all right. Now we've got some questions, Kimberly.
Right.
We got and a lot of these questions are like my interest. Because I got to be able to get along with my co-host, so you gotta have some similar interest of what I have.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Scott, I'm gonna let you open up the questioning, and Scott, think about the question before you present it. Because if it's a lame brain question, I'm gonna have a sidebar with you, and I'm gonna rip you apart. So think about it before you ask the question. Are you ready, Scott?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
You ever thought about becoming a doctor from going from a registered nurse to a doctor?
Good question, Scott. Good question.
Good question, actually. No, I really enjoy the patient contact that maybe the doctors or surgeons necessarily don't have. So I like talking to people, goofing around with people, and just being me at work. I don't need to be a doctor. I'm more than capable of doing stuff that doctors do, and I get to see the patients.
Oh, very good. Good, Scott. Good first question, Scott. Give yourself a hand, Scott. Go ahead. All right. Kimberley, would you mind me asking you this? Because I'm just trying to get a feel for if you're going to know the answers to some of these questions. And I know a lot of women don't like talking about this. Do you have a problem with mentioning your age?
No, not at all. I'm an open book. I'm 33 years old.
Okay, you're 33 years old. I think we might be okay then.
I'm not 19.
Yeah, you're not 19. You're a little more worldly. Okay, here's the first question. And I think you're going to get this one, Kimberley. Kimberley, everybody knows who listens to me and listens to my show. I'm a huge Beatle fan. Huge. Beatles are a huge part of my life. Huge. Okay. So my co-host has to know a little something about the Beatles. When we did Maria, bless her heart, she couldn't even name the 4 Beatles. She didn't even know. So right then and there, she was in a hole. Okay. So Maria, what I'm going to ask, Maria, I'm sorry, Kimberley, I'm sorry. What I'm going to ask you, this is a little easier, and I think you're going to get this. Kimberley, name me 4 Beatle songs. 4, just 4. 1 for each member of the group. Go ahead.
All right. Oh my gosh.
Oh, no. Yes. Yeah, that's one. Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Oh jeez.
I even listened.
Kimberley, come on. They got hundreds of top 10 hits. No. Come on.
Okay, let me think here. So, Hey Jude.
Oh boy.
I'm blanking out right now, and I seriously know this.
Oh, this thing.
Terrible.
Yeah, Kimberly, we got to get off to a better start.
USSR.
Yes. Very, and that's if you got that one, you could get some of the easier ones.
Well, that's what I mean. I think it's in the back of my brain. I just need to bring it forward.
You said a couple of minutes ago, let me think about it for a minute. Let it.
Oh, let me?
Yes. All right. One more.
Revolution.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Scott, give her a round of applause, Scott. Scott, can you name a Beatles song outside of that? A different one.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Very nice, Scott. Okay.
Oh, very
All
good.
right.
Very good.
I might allow Scott to be your lifeline if we get into a little trouble here.
Okay, good.
Okay, now this is very easy. Like, this is a layup, Kimberly. Like, this is a total layup. But I might, depending on how easily you answer this, there might be a part B to the question. Okay? Because this is a layup. All right? What was the name of Rocky Balboa's wife?
Oh, sweet Lord, I don't know that.
Rocky.
Adrian.
Very nice. Okay, very nice. Okay, this is going to be bonus points now. And this is bonus. You already got the question right. This is bonus.
Okay.
In Rocky 1, you know, when we see the courtship between Rocky and Adrian, okay, where does Adrian work? Rocky goes to her place of work. Where does she work, Adrian?
The gym?
No, good guess, but that's okay. That was what Scott. Do you know where Adrian works?
And it wasn't a pet store.
Pet store, very nice. Okay,
No.
but that was bonus.
Close.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That was bonus. Okay, so, hey, I got to tell you something, Kimberly. You're 2 for 2 so far. 2 for 2.
Not too bad, but I'm reaching in my brain here.
All right, this one I don't know. Now, I'm a huge television fan. You watch a lot of television, Kimberly.
Yes, I do.
Do you like older, though, television? You know, shows that are in reruns?
Some of them. Depends on the show, but mostly I watch reality TV.
Okay, I do too. We're big reality fans. Very nice. Okay.
Good.
You've heard of the show Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm a huge fan of the show. I grew up on Long Island. I've got a lot of similarities with myself and Ray Barone. Okay? Have you watched the show?
Some of it.
Okay, this may be this. I may let Scott be. Scott, do you know Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yes, I have all the seasons on DVD.
Okay, then Scott might. But remember, you only get Scott as a lifeline once. But you can use me if you have to. Just once.
Okay.
What does Ray Barone do for a living? On Everybody Loves Raymond, what does Ray Barone do for a living?
He's a writer.
All right, he's sports writer, but I'll give you that. Kimberly, 3 for 3. Scott, what do you think, bro?
Wow.
That's what you got to say. Wow, that's it.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
I'm 3 for 3. All right, Scott, do you want to throw in one of your lame brain questions before we go on with the quiz? Go ahead.
Sure. This is a question. What show do you think inspired Barack Obama to become the president of the United States?
Which show?
Yeah.
The Jeffersons?
No, because there was a president named David Palmer on the show.
The White House.
There was a president named David Palmer on the show.
Oh, I don't know.
24?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott, how was she going to know that, Scott?
I don't know.
Scott,
I'm not even in the States.
Yeah, Scott, stop already with your lame brain. All right, here we go. Number 4. Oh, boy. This is going to be a tough one. All right. I want you to think about this now.
Okay.
Because this you're not going to know because you don't you haven't really listened to my show, have you?
No, not really.
All right, Kim.
I know who you are.
Okay, you're gonna have to guess with this one.
All right.
My co-host is Jeff Lane. Jeff Lane came here in Colorado to work on a wrestling show. We were in my car. Jeff Lane puked all over himself. Disgusting.
Oh, that's nice.
Disgusting. Well, puke is probably nothing to you. I mean, you saw her test that. Okay. One particular item of clothing Jeff Lane puked on, but kept it and washed it and has worn it again after he puked on it. One part of his clothing. What part of that clothing would that be?
His underwear?
No, good guess. His hat. He puked on his hat. Okay, I've done
that before. I
can't imagine you ever puking. I can't imagine you even going to the bathroom, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't really want you thinking about me going to the bathroom.
Okay. All right. Now that's one strike. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right?
Yeah, we've got 6 questions, and you got 2
Okay.
strikes left.
Okay.
Oh boy, are you a baseball fan?
I know a little bit about baseball.
If you know a little bit about baseball, you might know this one.
Okay.
You might. Okay.
All right.
Who is the all-time Major League Baseball home run king? Who has hit more home runs than anybody else in the game of baseball?
Is it still McGuire or?
You're close. You're close. If you can get it with a second guess, I'll give it to you.
Oh, Christ.
You're close.
It's not Babe Ruth. No.
No, yeah, I'll give you one more guess. And I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
I'm a big Giants fan.
Well, that doesn't help.
Yes,
me.
it does. I'm a big San Francisco Giants fan. This guy may have played for the Giants.
I'm gonna use my lifeline.
We already used them.
Oh, come on.
All right, I'll give you. Okay, I'll give you another lifeline.
When are you gonna ask me about like hockey?
Yeah, I should have because you're from Scott.
Canadian.
Scott, what's the answer?
I don't know what that much baseball.
You don't know.
No.
Okay, Kimberley, I got to give it Barry Bonds.
I had it right.
You didn't say, but you said McGuire.
I said, is it McGuire or is it still Barry Bonds?
No, you said Babe Ruth.
You watch this back.
You said Babe Ruth.
No, that was after I said Barry Bonds.
You said, are you claiming you said Barry Bonds?
Yes.
I'm going to go to the judge. Scott, did she say Barry Bonds?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I missed that. Okay.
I said, is it still McGuire or is it Bonds?
Oh boy, this one's going to be tough. Okay.
You should change to something Canadian. Maybe I should quiz you.
On a Canadian one?
Sure.
All right, here's the thing. We'll do this. You ask me a Canadian question.
Okay.
If I get it right, it's a strike against you. If I get it wrong, it's a right answer for you.
Okay. All right. I could be really mean to you, but
give me something that I got a chance of getting.
Okay. Who is our prime minister?
Oh gosh.
That's like our president, man.
Scott, do you know?
No.
Okay. Prime Minister of Canada. Winston Churchill.
That is a terrible guess.
I got no idea. Who is it?
It's Justin Trudeau.
Just,
Pierre Trudeau's son.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Okay. So this is what we're looking at now. This is what we're looking at because I'm going to give you that. Here's what we're looking at. We got 4 questions left. You've got to get 3 out of the 4 because you got 1 strike.
Okay.
And a lot of these are easy.
I hope so.
Okay. Who is Howard Stern's sidekick? The reason for this show. I'll even let you just give me her first name.
Robin Givens. Well, that was her old,
No, not Robin Givens. Just say Robin. Say Robin.
Robin.
Yeah, Robin. Okay. Robin Quivers. Quivers.
Oh, I was close.
Okay, now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, as I go through the calculations here, Scott, would you like to ask the lovely Kimberley another question?
Sure. What are your thoughts on the Donald Trump becoming president?
Ooh, that's loaded. I am not a Donald Trump fan. I'm really nervous for what he's going to do with the country. It's a great country. I've been there. I've lived there for a little bit. But I think, is just a little bit too extreme for me. Building walls and that kind of stuff isn't my cup of tea. However, he is going to do something great for Alberta's economy, so I'm going to just be hopeful.
Now, when and where did you live here in the United States, Kimberley?
I lived for a little bit in Pensacola, Florida. And I also lived for a little bit back and forth from Columbia, South Carolina.
So
and,
what brought you to the States?
My ex played hockey.
Oh, professional?
Yes.
Could we say who that is or no?
I would prefer not to.
Okay. All right. Kimberley, we got 3 questions left.
Okay.
You're allowed to miss one.
Okay.
The first question I'm going to ask you is a trick question. That's the hint. It's a trick question.
Okay.
Name one opponent Disco Inferno ever beat. One
Alex
opponent.
Wright.
Alex Wright. No, you're wrong. There was a trick question. He never beat anybody. Never beat anybody, Disco. So that's a.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I believe you.
Actually, I believe he beat Alex Wright. I'm going to give you that one.
I think he did, but
Okay, we're down to 2 questions.
all right.
Oh boy. I'm going to ask you the harder one first.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And you're allowed to get this wrong, and then it's going to come down to the last question.
All right. Let's hear it.
Who did David Arquette? Remember, David Arquette was the WCW champion. I was the writer at the time. I've caught a lot of flack for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Who did David Arquette pin to become the WCW world champion?
I'll
give you a hint.
Okay.
He was a non-wrestler. He was not a wrestler.
Oh, was it Dennis Rodman?
No, good guess though. Good. It was Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
Okay, man. This how are you on music?
Not too bad.
You know today's music? Give me some of your. Yeah. Who do you like of today's music?
I'm a big fan of Lady Gaga.
Okay, all right. You might know this then.
All right.
I'm a huge Rihanna fan.
Yeah.
My girl, she's right behind me, right there.
Riri.
Riri. Okay, you know Riri.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all you have to do to get to the next stage.
All right.
This is all you got to do. Name one Rihanna album. Just one.
Did she have a self-titled album?
No. Her last album won nominated for every Grammy in the world.
Yeah. Oh man. One Rihanna album. Frick.
I'll give you a hint. Okay. When you're against something, like you just said, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. Yeah. You're against Donald Trump. That means you are blank Donald Trump. I'm blank.
Anti?
What was that?
Anti?
Yeah. Scott, we have a winner, Scott. What do you think about that, bro?
I think she's perfect for the job.
Okay, now, Kimberley, you've advanced to the next round because you got through this rigorous line of questioning. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of myself. Thanks for the hints, though.
Yeah, Scott, do you want to praise the lovely Kimberley in any way? Any questions you didn't get to ask?
I got a couple music questions.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Who sang the song Pour Some Sugar on Me?
That would be Def Leppard.
Yes.
Huge Def Leppard fan.
Yes.
I don't think that was Def Leppard.
Pour Some Sugar on Me?
Yeah, wasn't that Wild Cherry or something?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Leppard. You look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. You two have a conversation while I look it up right now. Go ahead.
Okay. You asked me another question.
Were you ever a fan of the Monkees?
No, not a fan of the Monkees. I was more Partridge Family type era fan.
And what is the one place you want to visit that you never visited before?
Ooh, honestly, I think I'd like to go somewhere in Asia. I like Thailand. That kind of, never seen that side of the world. I went to Brazil for this summer to watch the women's wrestling. So that was
Another good place is the Cayman Islands.
All right, Scott.
Yeah,
enough
no,
with the. Oh, you guys are right with Def Leppard. I'm wrong. You're right.
I can't believe you questioned me.
Yeah, I'm thinking of something else. Hey, you know what though? You're after my own heart. I'm gonna throw in a little bonus question in there right now. I was a huge Partridge Family fan.
All right.
Who was their manager? What was his name?
Oh, that I don't know.
Come on.
No, I really can't remember that.
Mr. Kincaid. Remember Reuben Kincaid? No, you don't.
No.
All right.
That was a long time ago.
Well, that was bonus anyway. Listen, Kimberly, you won. You made it to the next round. Now, are you going to be available to come back on when we have the hot Robin off?
Ooh, there's a hot Robin off?
Yeah, there's a hot. We got to whittle this thing down, and then we're going to bring all of you on at once, and we're going to make the decision.
I love it.
So
when is the hot Robin off?
I'll let you know. I'll give you plenty of notice because I got to do some, make sure everybody's schedules coincide, etc.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Kimberly, give everybody your plugs. Let us know what do we need to support. I saw a while ago you were doing a GoFundMe. I saw that on your Twitter feed as well. Are you still doing that or no?
Yes, I am. So,
tell us about that. Maybe my fans can help you out. Tell us about that.
So, being Mrs. Calgary and Mrs. Alberta, I won the title of Mrs. Alberta and will be competing March 17th for Mrs. Canada, which is pretty unreal, representing the whole country. So I'm raising funds to kind of help me out with transportation and hotel fare, things like that, just to make things a little bit easier on myself. But yeah, I think that I have a pretty good shot at it. So,
wow! So Mrs. Canada,
yes.
Look at oh my God! Look at that, Scott, a princess. What do you think about that, Scott?
She looks very, very pretty.
Beautiful.
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Look, God, so in other words, hold on, Kimberly. My hot Robin could actually be Mrs. Canada.
Sure could.
Oh, I'm liking the sound of that. Now, yeah. Kimberly, let me ask you this: what if you win Miss Canada? First of all, like, I guess you can't vote from the United States, right?
No.
Okay. What does it mean to you? What do you get if you win that title? What happens?
As Mrs. Canada, basically, it's just a way that I can raise awareness for my charity, Generations of Hope, which provides funding for people that can't afford fertility treatment. We had to spend $14,000 to try and have our child here in Canada. So I don't believe that anybody's gender, race, sex, socioeconomic status, anything like that should determine if you can be a parent. So my goal is to just raise awareness for that.
Well, I don't really know, though, if we want Scott to be any kind of a parent. You know what I mean? I mean, Scott raising children, you know what I'm saying? Scott, let's be honest. You raising children is a little scary thing to think about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Scott?
Yes.
All right. Now, okay, so Kimberly, how do they find this GoFundMe now to help you with the expenses? March 17th, Mrs. Canada. That's a huge deal, man. That's
huge.
The missus of the entire country.
That's right. And if I win, then I go on to be Mrs. Globe. So that's kind of the whole world.
Unbelievable. Okay, so now how do they find the GoFundMe?
You can find the GoFundMe page on my Twitter. There's a link to it. I believe I pinned a link to it. But I'm sure if you searched up Kimberly Ford, Mrs. Canada, you'd be able to find it. And I'd appreciate if anybody helps me out. So thanks for that, Ben.
Okay, now Kimberly, where do you got to give the handle? What's the Twitter handle so they can go find it?
Oh, sorry about that. My handle is @Ford, like the car, unfortunately, FORD, Kimberley, KIMBERLEY. That's me.
That's your Twitter address.
That's correct.
Do you do Facebook or anything like that?
I do Facebook, however, it's my personal page.
Okay, so we want to go to Twitter. We want to help you out with GoFundMe, March 17, Mrs. Canada, which is a really big deal. Kimberly, I want to congratulate you. You've gone to the second round.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
All right, Scott, any last words for the beautiful Miss Kimberley?
I'm very excited to have interviewed you, and you're a very nice and beautiful lady.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, listen, hey, Scott, maybe if we find out what hospital Kimberley works with, maybe you could bang your head against the wall a few times and we'll send you in an ambulance to Alberta and she could wait on you. What do you think? Is that a possibility, Scott?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, there you go. All right, Kimberley, listen.
Canada, though.
That's okay. It's worth the drive. Kimberley, listen, you were a great contestant. You did real good. I'm looking forward to having you on again. And hopefully it'll be before March 17, where maybe we can plug the GoFundMe again and help you out in getting through the pageant.
That would be phenomenal. I'm just thrilled to be on your show, and hopefully everybody and yourself think that I'm a good fit, because I think we would have a lot of fun.